Hello guys, it's me again, Mr. Friends with Ape here, and this is what if Deku was Robin, part 2. Okay, we last left off of Izuku training with Batman, so let's hit it, so sorry for my voice because I have a cold today, so just hit it. I don't of Izuku talking to his father or talking to his Bruce Wayne. So let's just tell the story. What is it, father? Do you need something? Bruce waved his hand, and as he liked for a command, 3 Robins entered the room. Izuku was confused. Bruce simply pointed at Izuku, and 3 Vigilantes rushed to Izuku towards him. Izuku got into a fighting stance. Tim came for a left, throwing a hook towards Izuku's face. Izuku simply moved his grabbed his arm, and threw it towards other 2 Robins. How many times do I have to say this? You have to be unpredictable, Tim. Jason just laughed. Jason was next. He pushed him off him and ran towards Izuku, trying to swing him to his feet. But Izuku dodges everything. Izuku jumps over to him and runs towards Dick and Tim to finish them off. Dick has pushed him to the side, turned to where he last saw Izuku, only to meet his face to his fist. When Tim and Dick, unconscious, is asleep or just knocked out, it was now only Jay who was angry. He ran as only Jay who was angry ran as fast as he could with a depth of intention toward Izuku, but his anger blinded him and made very easy target to Izuku, who, after uppercutting him, took his gun and reloads it. It's to fire, and pointed into his right. Come on, father. How or never. After that, he reloaded the gun. And threw it on the left side of Bruce. And Bruce caught it, the gun. He put it on the ground and began clapping. You never stop surprising me, Izuku. Even I would took all of them so easily. Izuku simply smiles and smirks. They underestimated Izuku. They made them lose Izuku's swift and from his forehead got his hand to his mouth. Alfred, could you bring the boys to drink? And hang on, would you like anything, Master Wayne? Oh, fine, thank you. And that would be it. It's fine now. With your, of course, he didn't get response. Instead, Alfred came through the door with a waiter cart filled with with drinks. Good. What type of drink is this? You like Master Izuku? Alfred, for the last time, don't call me Master Izuku, just call me Izuku. It's fine. And could I have a cold water, please? Alfred gave him a bottle of water, and I'm sorry, Master Izuku. It won't happen again. Will you ever learn? Izuku just laughed. Izuku, when need to talk to Bruce, said, sitting his armchair close to his fireplace. May I sit, father? Izuku said, looking down. Of course, it's your house as well. Izuku sat in the armchair in front of his father. I want you officially to be part of the Teen Titans. I, I can't, Father. Bruce was taken back. Why? I, I appreciate everything you and Mother, Tim and Jason did to me for the last 11 years, but as far as my memory, can I go away always be wanted to be a hero, graduate in UA high school in my homeland, and be a proper hero, all those mission with the Teen Titans patrols, training with you and the boys. I really appreciate it, but I have something to prove them. A quirk doesn't make a hero. All those who called me a reject will change their mind. I will prove it, not only for the sake of my revenge. I want my spirit to be finally healed after rejection. If you don't mind, of course. He only meant to tight embrace a hug from his father. After a couple of minutes in the embrace, they parted. How can I say no to those emerald eyes of yours? Well, go to Japan in 2 days for party of Yarusa family. They are partners of our corporation in Japan, and they want us to honor the guest. You include after that, we will buy a house. They're not a big as a Wayne matter, but it have to do, said Bruce. And we'll get training for UA test as you wanted. You won't accept any recommendation or any kind of cheat code, Bruce said, just to be sure, with a tight embrace from his son. And Izuku said, "Thank you, father." 2 days later, they arrived to Yarusa mansion. It wasn't big as a Wayne manor, but it was big, nothing more. Nothing less. Izuku was wearing a dark green suit with black vest and white shirt, tie his same color as a suit, and black shoes, and older Wayne just with a black suit, just like business suit, and red tie. The Rosa family greeted them with all the respect. As Mr. Wayne, great to see you, said and this is your son? As I believe, it's great to meet you. I'm Hisashi Yarozu, and this is my wife, Inaka Yarozu. Izuku smiled, and it took his hand towards Mr. Hisashi. It's great to meet you. I'm Izuku Wayne. I hope we'll get along. Hisashi shook his hand. Izuku kissed Inaki to his hand as he took her hand and shook it. As well, oh my, gentlemen, I see my mother gave me a few lessons. Will we meet her? I always wanted to meet the woman who stole heart of your father. Hisashi smiled and looked around. No, sadly, Selena had her own meeting planned today. Bruce spoke before Izuku could say anything. Oh, that reminds me. We want you to meet someone, Izuku, Anaki said as she excused herself from the conversation. After for a while of talking about Izuku, plans for the future of the Anaki come back with someone by her side. Izuku emerald eyes meet with eyes of someone he aged, wearing a red dress with shown for a figure. Most if the girl would die to get to the girl. Had black hair dyed in a ponytail with bangs. On the left side of the face, her cat-like oxy eyes fries through his emerald eyes. is our daughter, Momoya Rosu. Momo and took her hand towards Izuku. Hope we get along, Wayne-kun. Izuku did what he did to Anaki. Momo blushes, signifying that didn't go unnoticed. By all the pleasure, it's all mine, Yarurozu-san. Then the music changed to something slow. Not the let slowly, in a wiggle next of each other type of music, but something you could normally dance to, speaking for pleasure. Maybe we can meet each other in the music company. To Elder Yarurozu chuckles and Momoyarozu react. She nods blushly, madly. He took her hand and took her hand too, to the dance floor. They danced, talking about many things afterwards. They went outside. They were in the bower cold air, running. Between them, Izuku took his suit and jacket and placed it to Momo and Momo's shoulder. Thank you, Izuku. No problem, Yarozu. What are your plans with high school do? You want to go? I recommend. To UA High School? What about you? I'm going to take the test of UA in 3 months. I want to prove something to everyone. Oh, what's your quirk? I don't have a quirk. I'm quirkless, like my father. Momo was taken back. Wait, are you sure? About that note, about that choice? Yeah, it was my dream for I was far as my memory could go. Well, I wrote you, Izuku. Momo smiled towards him. Izuku took her hand and placed it between his two hands. Smiled back, then thank you, Yarozu. Momo blushes, madly blushes with that and smile, and enough to make All Might smile to underground. They talk a bit more when inside again to meet their respective parents. Ah, there you are. We want to talk you, Sashi said. Momo and Izuku sat in front of them. We talked to Mr. Wayne and we agreed that you want to arrange a marriage between me and your daughter. Izuku cut him up, which took Yarosa by surprise. Bruce simply chuckles and said told you Sashi signed and gave him 2,000 yen in cash. Momo, on the other hand, blushes bright red as a red dress, but she quickly hide her head. An Izuku jacket. So what do you say, young man? Will you take her daughter's hand? Izuku smirks. So did Bruce know? Izuku said Hasashi's side again. I give Bruce another 2,000 yen. Momo looked down to disappointment. I won't do it if we're disdain for each other. Well, I get together ourselves if we both feel mutual feelings to each other, of course. And that's you need time. So if your daughter and I bond in a way there our feelings are mutual and strong enough, I ask her to marry me. Wayne myself, but until then I have to say no. Momo should able to marry whoever she wants to. Momo looked at Izuku in amazement. Meanwhile, Inaki looked at towards Bruce. How on earth did you predict that? She said as she handed him 1,000 yen. After a party, Izuku and Bruce drove with Alfred with WNG, which should for Wayne. manner Japan, which wasn't as big as original, but it's big enough to give the rich, give them both a house. And with 3 months, with 3 months of hell training, this is going to be hard for Izuku. And with that 3 months of training, Izuku began starting training with his father by going plus ultra, doubling the amount of his deadly training, daily training. They they began working more than weapons of such which Izuku already wasn't good with, like metal bar. He picks up against training with Tim one day. I already knew it was his weapon of choice. But no hero can live with trick up their sleeves, and he trained with all sorts of spear, javelin, and other spear-like weapons, since it was his ways of doing things, not degrade of white weapons. He also trained his body or accuracy with kunais, shuriken, and guns, and a Christmas gift for Jason to be a gun. And Izuku trained with his two master all sorts of weapons, and Bruce gave Izuku an idea to train a ninja weapons alongside ninja arts of steel. Since it was homeland tradition, he trained it to maximum potential. It's a short period of time since Izuku knew almost all minerals of martial arts, and he was fast learner. Bruce brought Izuku a kusari games, nunchucks, and some katanas for him to master them before the UA exam. Bruce gave him a steel ring, and which had to spice to do something little damage to that symbol with an engrave on it as well. Izuku was competent with coming towards to UA Hall. Nothing could stop him. Girls were looking at him. Most of them blushes whispered between themselves. Izuku couldn't care less. He was planning the relationship anytime soon. Bruce mailed UA to let them Izuku use his equipment. They agreed. After reading response from the UA booth, both Wayne already knew Izuku was gonna be a UA student. So this is going to be the end, guys. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and leave a notification to never miss any videos I made. And this is going to be the end, and goodbye. Sorry for a shirt because I'm really sick, so maybe tomorrow I'm going to make another one. So goodbye.